Hello, good afternoon and welcome to News Today on your Joy News channel here on Multi TV. Coming up, newly formed political party All People's Congress criticizes calls for extension of EC's May ending deadline by lesser known political parties, describing their inability to open offices as sheer laziness. Brace up to pay more for the staples you use in preparing your meals, as Joy News checks on the market show prices have increased by over 100%. And we'll bring you a report on how pupils of a school here in the capital Accra are preparing for their BECE in a shed consisting of just 3 stumps roofed with thatch. We have details of those stories, including business, sports, entertainment, as well as international updates, all coming up in the next hour here on News Today. Stay with us. My name is Kwabena Chenchen. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. To our very first story this hour, and brace up to pay more for the staples you use in preparing your meals, as Joy News checks on the market show prices have increased by over 100%. Now, this comes as renowned market research company Isoko had earlier revealed the harsh weather conditions have driven prices of food crops up by 4% in the first quarter of this year. Content manager of Isoko, Francis Dansweje, tells Joy News if the weather conditions do not improve, the hikes will continue.
The survey that we've done so far is for the first quarter of the year for some specific commodities that we have. The usual commodities that you find maybe on a typical Ghanaian, in a typical Ghanaian house. In terms of maybe you find cassava, you find some tomatoes, and then you find them there within the household. And so from the first quarter of the year, we realize that on the average, cassava for the month or for the quarter, you are paying close to 90 Ghana cedis per bag for cassava. That is about 11% increase in the price of cassava from the previous quarter. And then for tomatoes, for the first quarter of the year, we realized that there was a drop in the price of tomatoes. But if you compare the current price of tomatoes now, the first quarter, you realize that a box or a crate of tomatoes has increased. And so we expect that in the second quarter, we'll have a rise in the price of the commodity. And then currently, as we speak now, maize, a bag of maize is also hovering around 150 Ghana cedis per bag of maize. This indicates that for the first quarter, we have a lot of the commodities that we consume as Ghanaians. We have the prices going up in the first quarter of the year. The cause of the increase in the prices of the commodities is what we all know. It is the rainfall pattern that has changed. And so it has affected the cycle of planting that we have in the country. And so for cassava, we realize that it is a root crop. And so in terms of harvesting, you need the ground to be soft for you to be able to harvest. And because of the delay in the rain, the grounds are so hard, and so they are not able to harvest as much as they could. And then we have other demands also being on the commodity. For maize, we realize that last season we are still selling maize from the previous season, that was 2015. And you realize that because of the rainfall pattern, the major season, we did not get a lot of grain. And so we are still seeing that effect in the first quarter of the year.
Okay.
And so most of the things that we are seeing and a lot of the increase in prices are being attributed to the rainfall pattern that has changed, which is affecting the crop yield and also affecting the prices.
But Joy News checks revealed that the percentage increase is a lot higher than reported. Francis Aban was at Malata Market earlier today to find out the actual situation on the ground and has come through with this report.
Now, the price of food crops in Ghana today has increased astronomically. Question is why? Why are many people struggling to buy even a bucket of tomatoes these days, or even a carton of it? We're told that prices have gone up by as much as 300%. Our test case today will be a bowl of fufu and soup, which will have these ingredients a part of it. We're trying to understand what the prices were before, what they are now, and what is driving these increases today. Coco sells tomatoes here at the Makola market here in Accra. She will explain to us what the problem is. Coco, good morning.
Morning, da.
Na eti sen ope.
Tampa chair.
Oton toast.
Tampa chair.
Na sisi adwom to say.
Sisi ade adwani nyapula. Yen to ani boy did too much.
Okay. What's any boy did too much, but first January auto carton of toast na auto ne say.
No mud nyame no mud my 2 million. 2 million be or 22. Na sisi ade 9 million, 8 million. Ye to a omo to me to paint 400. 35 impana bisa pe na oko nti ye panicho almost say lole fe na blood down kakra
focus at 300 400 nti bucket way saying
400
40 cedis 40 Ghana cedis first time competition we saying in January
9 cedis
9 Ghana cedis. So here's the thing, Coco explains that for the things they're selling here now, for tomatoes especially, it's gone up. I was even thinking 300 cedis, but it's more than that. Initially you have a box of tomatoes for somewhere around 200 to 220 Ghana cedis. Now you're talking 800 to 900 Ghana cedis for a carton. That will translate into a bucket, which we'll buy every day. This bucket will have gone for somewhere around 9 cedis per bucket for this. Today we're buying it at 40 Ghana cedis. Into Ubusa say adiene buona cost room. Adena emane cost room.
Maybe say almost lole fe. Lole fe nkwa na muka. Munka hwe nkyere ye. Na mo say also ne boy din.
We've seen a tomato example, but next on our list is onion, because we're learning that it's also gone up by quite a significant percentage. This woman here sells onions here at the Malamata market. Good morning to you, madam.
Good morning.
And thanks for speaking to us this morning. Tell me, at the start of this year, how much were you buying a bag of onions, and how much is it going for now?
It's now 2.2, 2.4. Per bag.
Per bag. And first, how much was it? In January, how much were you buying it for?
It was 121415.
Do you know why the price has gone up?
They are saying about the sifa.
So what? They bring it from other places?
They bring it from Niger. Niger, yeah.
Has it affected the sale of these things? Has it affected your business? Are people able to come and buy?
Oh, they are buying small. They are buying. They understand.
They understand. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, is it your wish that it could have been a little less so people can afford and buy a bit more of it?
Oh, where it's down is better. But now it's going up. There's nothing that we can do.
Okay. So from 1.2 in January, it built up to 2.4 now.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Now to one of the commodities that many have been talking about today, it's cassava. For the fufu lovers like myself, we're worried about how the size of what we get in our bowls has reduced significantly, or we are paying a bit more for a bigger chunk. Question is why? Let's see the price of cassava today on the market. Madam, good morning.
Good morning.
Na etiano pay.
Ache.
Na bancheno. First na oton bottle saying na sisi e saying.
First no. Taba for me dey no yet me to be 3 million only 2.5. E depend ni share e bia ni share ni bu. They say nya be 1.5, 1.8. As I say I feel banchino nso anto yenti. Banchina ambo. Into my price no price.
Okay, so she says that for a bag of cassava in the past, it will go from between 2.5 to 4 million, but now it's around 1.5. The price for the sack may have reduced, but if you look at what is in the pack that they are selling today, the quality is compromised, and so they're finding it very difficult to sell off cassava these days. You see, I was trying to say, so what should I say? Say now, OJ.
Let me do wait 5, wait 10.
First, now what should I say? I'm saying,
me do 10 cedi.
First at 10. You see how you saying?
5 cedi.
Be no crown, so be koko ba, minya na papa mu de.
Wefe, unu asembi anu.
So, it's a bon acquisition of Buffalo. So,
I said, it's so pretty. I can't tell you.
About first and empty, and I send out on.
Let me turn no 10 city.
You see, out on the 5. Okay. So, meaning, in just the last few days that we've seen rains, she's saying that the price has gone down a bit, marginally, but the challenge still remains about the crop yield for cassava, and so it's difficult getting the right quality in abundance for people to buy. It's one thing to say, right? And shut down doors soon.
And said, and doors more. I say, yeah. By
a bad year from so on ever.
I said, I say, I'm from swap with it. A former year didn't know, and my egg I first.
Well, we do know now that the Agric Ministry is holding a media briefing on this very subject matter, from where my colleague Etonam Say joins me over the phone with details of what has been transpiring so far. Etonam, good afternoon, many thanks for your time. So, what reason is the minister giving for this increase in prices of staples? Etonam Say, can you hear me? Etonam, I was asking of the reasons being given by the minister as far as the increase in price of staples are concerned. Okay, so we do not have Etonam Say on the line. We'll try and reach her. If we're able to do that, we'll bring that very update to you. But to some other stories now, and the Ghana Refugee Board says it would repatriate more than 40 refugees living in the open at Jolu here in Accra. The application for asylum status has been rejected by the board. The refugees from Nigeria, Congo, Togo and Benin are currently living on the lawns of a private home opposite the offices of the Ghana Refugee Board, having been in the country for almost.
We are here in Jowulu, just some few meters away from the Ghana Refugee Board, where we came to meet some refugees who are seeking asylum. However, they have been rejected, so they seek lodgement in front of someone's house, an apartment, here in the grass. We got a call from the owner of the house to come and see their plight and also help their situation. I have with me here the owner of the residence, who's going to brief us as to what has been pertaining here and how long these people have been here. Good evening. Can you tell us what the situation is?
It's pretty bad. They've been here for a couple of about 3 to 4 weeks. We came to ask them the reason why they are here, and they told us that they went to the refugee board and they were rejected, that the reasons for coming to Ghana was not valid. So they were sent away. And so they've been living on our lawn for almost 3 to 4 weeks. We give them water, and they come and buy, sometimes they buy water from us. And they have kids, they have babies, kids, and married women and adults and teenagers. They're sleeping outside. And this place, when it rains, mosquitoes, it's just too bad.
Okay, but don't they disturb you in any way, their presence here?
Not really. Most of the time, we are not home. But it's just unfair for them to stay outside. We are entering the raining season, and it's just too much.
So you are just near the Ghana Refugee Board. Have you seen them make any attempt at helping these people?
My mom went to inquire from the Ghana Refugee Board why they were outside. The refugee gave them. The Ghana Refugee Board said the reasons why they are in Ghana is not valid. That's all.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so Martha, we'll be talking to Israel. We're going to be talking to some of the refugees here. As you can see, they are here this evening, and we're going to find out from them how they've been coping so far. Bonjour, bonsoir. Okay, d'accord. C'est quoi ton nom, s'il vous plaît?
A project director of the Refugee Board, Tete Padi, says the refugees were misled by some traveling agents with the promise of helping them get to the U.S.
We are aware of the situation. The group of 16 approached us and applied for asylum. What we do is that we do investigations when we get such applications. And we realized that this particular group were refugees in another country for a very long time, and then they lost their refugee status. And so they decided to travel all the way to Ghana to again try and restart their refugee.
Do you know how they came into the country?
They came to have traveled by road, by bus. They arrived with no documents whatsoever, and yet they claim to have traveled across all the borders into Ghana.
Is that surprising to you?
We get that Very often, refugees, asylum seekers approach us without any documentation, and we still have to register them and listen to their story.
So why haven't you been able to grant them what they're looking for, the reason they're here?
Well, when we get such applications, as I said, we investigate. Initially, listening to their story, we knew that they were not of concern because they'd actually gone through all the processes. There's when people apply for refugee status, there's the initial emergency phase, and then they go through various phases, and then durable solution is applied, and then the refugee status comes to an end. So they've actually gone through all these phases in another country. We needed to verify that, so we listened to them first. On the surface, we could see that they would not be of concern, but we still needed to verify, and that has taken some time. And it is that during this period that they've found themselves hanging around various places.
So whose responsibility are they now?
Well, when people apply for asylum, we treat them as refugees until they are rejected. In this particular instance, usually what happens is that we have a UNHCR-run transit center where we keep people who have applied for asylum and have nowhere to stay and are in transit. Unfortunately, the transit center is full because we've had a lot of people coming in from Benin as well, where Togolese have been there for well over 20 years. And they've gone through the various stages, the various phases, and the refugee status has come to an end. And they've decided to come to Ghana and apply for asylum because they hear that it's easy to get to travel from Ghana to the US and to other places in the West. So that mainly is the motivation.
Time for a break here on News Today. When we come back, we have a lot more stories for you. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying here on News Today to some more stories now. And imagine learning for your BEC in a shed consisting of just 3 stumps roofed with thatch. Now that's the plight of pupils of the St. Gloria Precious School at Koliodo in the Adan West district of the Greater Accra region. The school is a community one established mainly for underprivileged children there. The school is appealing for support. Join News' Joseph Opoku-Gakpo visited there and has come through with his report.
The school was established in 2010 in collaboration with community leaders to provide education for underprivileged children in the Koliodo community. It now has a population of 140 pupils. Majority of them are orphans and disadvantaged children who have no money to pay fees. The school relies on the goodwill of benevolent individuals for survival. Gloria Zize started the school.
Children are plenty in the town. Some are not going to the school, so I was able to gather some of them just to help them. Some are needy orphans, so I gather all of them.
The children are squeezed into crowded classrooms. There aren't enough seats, nor blackboards, nor cupboards. 5 of the classes learn under sheds consisting of 3 stumps and roofed with thatch. The pupils are unhappy. For the over 130 pupils who study here in this school, they don't find things normal. They usually learn under this structure, and each time the weather gets bad and the dust blows or the rains come down, classes would have to come to an end. Theresa is a class 6 pupil here. Let me speak to her briefly.
We don't have school building, so if raining is coming, we need to go home, and we don't have chairs so that we can sit. We don't have bell. We don't have bowls. Pipe is not here. We lack many things, so our school is not developing. Even books that the teachers will use, we don't have some. Tables that the teachers will put their books on, we don't have.
Head teacher of the school, Justice Arnold, says the environment makes teaching and learning difficult.
The structure of the school is not good and not the acceptable one. Our main problem is the structure. We want the structure, and if we get, I think things will be better. Even we, the teachers, sometimes find it difficult because the board, as we can see, the chalkboard is not well positioned, causes back pains and all those things.
The pupils are uncomfortable learning here.
The Hamatan bro and some of us will be dirty. And if some people see us, they said, did we come from farm? Then we said, no, but we want school shirt so that our learning should be clever. Even our breathing grapple, it's difficult for us to breathe.
The school authorities are appealing for help to make this learning environment a more conducive one for the children. For Joy News, Joseph Opokugapo, Kwalido, Ada West District.
And here in Kokomlemle in Accra, my name is Kwabena Chenchen, but you're still watching News Today. Now, how do you keep true to your faith and still bleach your skin to be beautiful when your religion frowns on that? Joy News' Safia Mutala has been to Nima, one of the largest Zongo communities, to find out why so many women of Islamic faith are now changing their color.
A busy day in the market. This whole row is dominated by dealers in toning creams, essentially chemicals which help in bleaching skin. I'm here in Nima, a part of Accra, where 90% of them are Muslims. I'm here to find out why so many young women here are falling for the bleaching craze.
From infant, I was fair, but as I grew, you know, as a lady, I have to tone my color, I have to arrange myself well. So I decided to okay, let me get a good pomade and then tone my color to have a more brighter skin. I just want to look nicer because I think, okay, when I become more brighter, I'll be more beautiful. Okay, and my husband precisely likes a fair lady, which is why he got married to me. So I have to look fair to him all the time.
The trend of changing one's skin is not new in Ghana. But what has intrigued me is Islam as a religion frowns on bleaching, and yet in an area noted to be home to such huge Muslim population, bleaching is now a widespread fashion. Different people have different reasons why they bleach. The trend seemed to be down to peer influence, at least according to Mujiba Jawad, who has lived in Nima all her life.
Bleaching as a Muslim, I think is haram, because even if the Quran has not talked about skin bleaching in the Quran, but as a Muslim, anything that you would do and at the end the thing will bounce back or affect you is haram.
In the case of Maimuna, she tells us that she has regretted bleaching her skin.
I
grew up seeing women bleaching and started doing the same. Besides, I also want to look beautiful. So I bought some of the cream to look much brighter. As a Muslim, I know it's not good to bleach. Indeed, I have regretted. So my fellow ladies should learn from this and stop bleaching. Initially when I started, I liked it, but now I have blemishes all over my body.
I am Hussein Zakaria, an Imam of Muslim Ummah Mosque and proprietor of Adab Islamic Mission School.
Imam Zakaria tells us what Islam says about bleaching.
Our women are bleaching in order to attract men. Your natural color is more important than to be bleaching and have red skin while you are black. Some of them know and some of them did not know. All the time we do preach and tell them that this is not the way. Prophet Muhammad, he has wives. they did not bleach. They are just having their simply color. Attractive of their creation is more important for us to be convinced with that.
The people cashing in on this new trend are whitening cream sellers in Nima, like Nana Amaru, who has been in the business for a year now.
A day, like 50 ladies coming in, both men and women, 50 to 60. Since I started working in Nima, I haven't seen any dark-skinned girl around. All I see is fair girls.
It doesn't look likely that the trend of skin bleaching would abate anytime soon. But for Nima and the many young girls here, now falling for the temptation to change skin color, is a battle to keep a clear conscience while staying true to a religion. My name is Safia Murtala, Joy News, Nima.
An interesting piece there by my colleague Safia. We're taking another break here on News Today. When we come back, we'll bring you some business updates and then sports, plus some entertainment and international updates, all coming up in the next half hour. Stay on.
Now, time for some business. And more than 300 startups will benefit from a $17 million investment facility provided by the Climate Change Innovation Center established in Ghana. The center, which has been set up by the Ashesi University, will assist startups to effectively commercialize and develop innovative private sector solutions to address the effect of climate change. President of Ashesi University, Patrick Ewa, explained the center will provide critical services to create more businesses.
Climate change has for some time now become a household name, appearing significantly on the development agenda of both developing and developed countries. Invariably, climate change is noted for its threat to habitats and environments. Its impact on food security and productivity levels, as well as overall quality of life, cannot be overemphasized. However, there could be some opportunities in climate change. The Climate Change Innovation Center, which has been launched on the campus of the Ashesi University, will help turn challenges in climate change into opportunities. It will provide business advisory, financial, technical facilities, marketing access, and policy support services. The president of the university, Patrick Ewa, explains the purpose for this initiative.
The center is going to deploy approximately $17 million over the next 5 years to the effort of training and preparing entrepreneurs, giving them services, business advisory services, market research services, and also giving them proof of concept funding so that they can test their ideas and provide investment funding for the ideas that look like they're viable businesses. And so the startups that come through the CIC, the Ghana CIC, will have a range of services and investments ranging from training, business preparation to actual investment money so that they can get their businesses off the ground. We expect that the lives of over 300,000 people will be affected by this. And so in terms of job creation, we are very ambitious about what we'll do. We also think that we aim for this center to create businesses and help businesses be successful in such a way that we will offset over 600,000 tons of carbon emissions.
Present at the ceremony was the former president, John Ejekun Kufuor, who took part in a panel discussion. The practice manager, innovation and entrepreneurship from the World Bank Group, Ganesh Rasam, also highlighted the importance of such an innovation center to Ghana's economy.
It's a growing market.
And the importance of the sector is that besides the whole business part of clean tech industry, you're also looking at the impact on the environment, impact on people's lives, increasing agricultural productivity, food security, so that it touches a number of really important development issues for the country.
The Ghana Climate Change Innovation Center will be supported by the governments of Denmark and the Netherlands. It will also be managed by a consortium led by Ashesi University, Ernst & Young, SNV Netherlands Development Organization, and the United Nations University Institute for National Resources in Africa.
Now, from innovation, let's look at some issues to do with power. And the Deputy Minister for Power, John Jinapong, has inaugurated a task force to ensure that integrity of new meters provided by the ECG. This follows numerous complaints from the consumers about what they see as outrageous electricity charges, especially for prepaid meters.
We as a ministry and its agencies have received numerous complaints from some customers about their billing structure and the amounts that they pay for the power consumed. Initially, we got ECG to do some work on that. They submitted their reports. Following that, we have the opinion that we should have a second look at the readings of the meters. We are not going into calculations or determining how the tariff was arrived at. What we want to do is to do an audit of the system, especially with the meters, to ensure that they read in conformity with the gazetted tariff. And so simply put, if ECG is to bill you, they have to do so in accordance with the PURC approved tariff. And so the Energy Commission and ECG, we've also had discussions with PURC. PURC will look at the economic issues of it in terms of the calculations, but the Energy Commission will lead the process to do an audit of some selected meters. We have received a number of complaints, and what they have to do is to do what they call parallel running with a check meter to ensure that at least the integrity of the metering system is intact. And also we'll look at the software that ECG uses to check their bills and to calculate their bills. And so we want to use this opportunity to appeal to customers and consumers and the general public to remain calm, and that we shall take whatever steps that is necessary to protect the interests of the ordinary Ghanaian, and would wish to appeal to the consumers to collaborate with the team that we have set up, which would go around to conduct this investigation.
John Abdullahi Jinapong of the Power Ministry. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of The Business. So for more, you can actually join me between 1 and 1:30 here on the marketplace. Today we're looking at the aftermath of DKM, and also why is it that the central bank actually wants to sort of like give them a bailout. We are looking at the perspective of the microfinance association themselves and what they make of that. Some think it's a selective measure the Bank of Ghana is taking. What do you think? Join me between 1 and 1:30 as we deliberate on this particular issue. My name is John Kojo Amwakun. Up next is your sport. And that's how we wrap up on the news this afternoon on your Joy News channel here on Multi TV. My name is Kwabena Chencheheniboati. Remember, there's a lot more news when you visit www.myjoyonline.com. The marketplace is up next with John Kojo Amwako. Many thanks for your company.